Hey YouTube, what's going on? This is Cheeseboy628 here today, giving you week 9 of season 8 of the NPL Majors Edition. I am Cheeseboy628, coach of the Phoenix Sunkern. This week we are facing Mr. Murkrow, coach of the San Francisco Regigiants. So this is an interesting battle because right now I believe he was 3rd and I was 4th before this battle happened, and so therefore if I win this, the only difference is differential right now, and I have a really high differential in comparison to other people who have this same win-loss ratio as me, being, what is it? It is 4-4 at the time? Yes. So, with that in mind, yeah, me winning this puts me in a really good position, if not guaranteed, to be in the playoffs. So, let's talk about his team. This is a post commentary because this time around I had to do it away from my computer, and so good old music life really, because I have to keep preparing for a piano concert, and I have one in a few hours actually, and by few I mean like 12. I'm tired, okay? There's just so much going on with school right now. Anyway, yeah, it's like 2 a.m. lol. And so, you know my team, but his team is Tapu Lele, Zapdos, Heatran, Kartana, Alomola, Megavina, Aerodactyl, Umbreon, Dugtrio, and Frogadier. So here's the thing, it's interesting. It's a very stally team. I mean, it's the stalliest team I see here. More stally than Gypsy, more stally than anything. I mean, just outrageous. So, with that said, when I was going into this, I was like, okay, I need some wall breakers. And I also need things to be able to handle his biggest threats. And to me, I think I was most worried about handling Dougie. Dougie was definitely something scary to me. It's something he can manipulate a lot, especially since it's a Z user. And also Tapu Lele is going to be a very hard-hitting mon, so that's worth keeping in mind too. So let's go to the team builder, see what I ended up building. So here's the thing. I actually did bring level 1 Aaron, and these EVs don't matter at all, but I brought level 1 because he has such bulky mons that it made sense that with the sand it's going to take out most of his stuff. So, and if not, and he brings in a steel type to, you know, be immune to the sand, so of course I'm going to pair it with Gigalith for this fear set to work. Because of that, you know, his steel types are going to be low, so, you know, that's good anyway. But yeah, so with Gigalith, I actually made it fully Spadef and Smooth Rock. So I wanted as much sand turns as possible so I can get Stoutland, as you'll see, and Aaron to have the max amount of advantage in their turns as possible. It's Spadef because I needed something to handle Tapu Lele and Zapdos, and that worked best. Also, it does decent against Heatran. So, yep, it's got rocks on it, and so it's going to be super bulky. It's great. So this Stoutland is a very unique set. So I knew I wanted to hit pretty hard with this mon. I wasn't sure if I was going to do Life Orb, that kind of thing. But I saw this thing got Last Resort, and I knew I had Work Up. I just wasn't sure how I would utilize it if need be. But yeah, so this set is kind of similar to, you know, the classic Fake Out Last Resort Ambipom, but with Silk Scarf. But yeah, so pretty hard hitting. Still, it might barely miss out on certain kills because of Silk Scarf, but I also want to preserve the bulk as much as possible. But yeah, ideally, like, some wall protects on me, and thus I can Work Up and then Last Resort and destroy. I have Tapu Bulu here. This is a setup mon, so, you know, one of my wall breakers, kind of like Stoutland really. Fair amount of wall breakers all around really. But yeah, so I got SD, and then 3 hard-hitting moves here. I think I was considering Superpower as well. This set does not do well against Kartana. Actually, I think in the last, when I made my final edits, this was actually Superpower, I believe. So that's worth keeping in mind. But it is Life Orb because the idea was, I'm not sure if I had Zen or Superpower, to be honest, but yeah, so the idea was to handle Megavina, and so with that said I would have had Zen Headbutt after +2, And so, yeah, that was the idea. I was able to take out all of his mons at that point. Granted, anything faster than me is going to be a significant threat, like Aerodactyl. We're going to get to the actual team in a second. But yeah, like Aerodactyl, Tapu Lele. You know, this doesn't have a ton of speed on it anyways, just to outspeed, like, defensive Heatran, basically. So we got Tentacruel here. This is not the exact EVs I had. It was just outspeed Tapu Lele, I think. So we had a little bit less here and just a little bit more bulk. I believe it was this. I believe it was this set. Because I knew I had 40 EVs in HP. So the idea here was to trap various mons that may want to come in, and we're talking about like Megavina or Alomomola in particular. Then we can acid spray them and eventually weaken them to where Sludge Bomb actually kills. I was considering Scald, but ultimately Sludge Bomb is the hardest hitting, plus with potential for poison is good. I have HP Fire for Kartana in the case that I can Whirlwind or Whirlpool and then trap him. But Kartana also can like Oko Tenta from full, even if it's just a Jolly Scarf Kartana. So it's kind of ridiculous, and in hindsight not the best set, but could have been fun nonetheless. And then lastly we got Hawlucha. Basically I don't have anything to handle Kartana except for this darn thing, and it does pretty well at it. So we got Taunt because he's got a bunch of bulky mons. We got Defog because we want those hazards out of there because Tentacruel doesn't have spin and we want to preserve Aaron. We got U-turn for momentum and then Roost for recovering. But yeah, this set does decently well, but because of the lack of speed investment, perhaps I can be outsped by things. I wasn't really paying too much attention in terms of speed time as opposed to being worried about just something to take Kartana on. So with that said, here's the actual team matchup. So of course I showed you my mons, and then he has the bulky walls of Zapdos and Alomomola. Heatran could potentially, or at least that's what I'm thinking going into it. So I'm thinking Alomomola is going to be a bulky mon, Zapdos probably, and potentially Heatran. He's got Dougie, so I've got to be careful about that. My Tenta's not a big fan of that, and I was worried about certain sets with Dougie where I know it gets Sludge Wave, so if it hits my Tapu Bulu too hard, that could definitely be a sucky situation too. He's got Frogadier, definitely surprised by that. It's not like that great of a mon, but like he's still using it, whatever reason. And then Kartana, very scary mon. So he's got two steel types that he can switch in against my Fear Aaron, but nonetheless, we'll see how it kind of goes. So let's just get into it. So I start with my Hawlucha, and so it's kind of a weird start, 100%. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to lead with because I didn't want to lead with Gigalith turn 1 in the case that he has Dougie. He brings in Dougie. So yeah, that was kind of a scary thing to me. I was like, I don't want Dougie to just take advantage of my team. So I bring in Hawlucha for the sake of, potential rocks, or, scaring people, scaring these mons out, and being able to U-turn turn 1. So that was the exact thing I did here. And since I have Limber on this set because I'm leftovers and don't need to worry about like having my Unburden set, I have Limber, and that means when I U-turn there's no chance of me getting paralyzed, which is really nice. But he doesn't know that. But yeah, I'm gonna go to Gigalith because Stone Edge is going to kill every day, and I'm really just wanting to get rocks up. So you can see here, he doesn't have leftovers, but I don't know what his set is. But yeah, so I'm able to get that off. I guess in hindsight, pretty surprised he stayed in just a Toxic when a Stone Edge could have hurt a lot. Yeah, maybe he could have went to Dougie after that, and then, yeah. But he also doesn't know my Gigalith set yet. He doesn't know it's Smooth Rock, so that's TBD. But yeah, so here I go for the Toxic myself. So I'm pretty stoked about this trade-off. I get rocks up, and I'm able to Toxic this Alomomola. But I want to preserve this Gigalith in the case that I'm going to, bring a Sand up again, and Stoutland and Aaron can wreak havoc. So here he knocks off my Black Sludge. Wasn't exactly sure what he was going to go for, but Tenta 100% of the time is going to be able to handle Alomomola. So here I want to trap this baby, and that way, he can't switch out. It'll be beautiful. Just kidding, because he has the frickin' eject button. And that's something I did not expect going into this. So this was a really good set on his part, because if I brought in something that had Shuka, he already would have knocked off the Shuka, Then as soon as he gets hit, brings in Dougie, and then something dies. So that's basically what happened here. Tentacruel unfortunately was not able to do anything because of the eject button. So here we go. We bring in Aaron, and kind of running out of sand turns here, but nonetheless the goal here is just to get off a ton of damage on something, which is exactly what happens. And so yeah, he's down to 4% with his Heatran. I'm going directly into Hawlucha. I just don't really have another switch in. I could have went to Gigalith, but if I go into Gigalith, then I wouldn't have set up the sand again, and it would have taken just a number of turns for me to actually be able to get up sand eventually again. So that would have been just obnoxious all around. But I bring in Hawlucha potentially for rocks. I'm not really sure why I ended up doing it. I mean, it was just my best switch, like, because nothing else really wants to take it. But we got bulky Hawlucha. So he goes for Magma Storm, does a ton of damage, and that shows that he's also offensive. So the thing is, this is worth noting. You know, this is an offensive Heatran, which means Frogadier is also going to be able to outspeed me. Zapdos is probably... No, we don't know yet for sure. Zapdos could outspeed me. We don't know. It doesn't have leftovers, so I'm not really sure yet. Dougie's going to outspeed. You know, that's not as big of a deal, though. It's also worth noting Frogadier does not have priority moves, and so that's kind of nice all around, because I was worried about Water Shuriken. But nope, it only has one hit move, so Aaron is fine on that front too. However, since rocks are up right now, my only chance of being able to use Aaron again is by defogging. And for that to happen, Hawlucha needs to be in, and against a Mon he can outspeed, or a Mon that, or where he's gonna like switch out on my Hawlucha. So I need to bank on that later on if I want Aaron to do anything. But yeah, I'm gonna bring in Tapu here. I feel it's a decent switch to whatever, because right now there's not something that can hit me too hard. Here, I think I was fearing the Ice Beam, and he does get Protean, and he's allowed to use Protean, so that is kind of intimidating in that sense, and that's why I ended up switching out. However, it turns out he has Gunk Shot, and he just misses it here. Or wait, no, he doesn't miss. Don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, it does 14%, so it's not the worst, even though I have no defense investment. But yeah, so I'm like, well, good thing I switched out, I guess, because I wasn't expecting that. Nonetheless, I go into Hawlucha, as he apparently has HP Ground. So, that was really weird all around. Granted, Gigalith can't do anything to, you know, with a Spadef Stone Edge against HP Ground Frogadier, so it wasn't really a loss to him either. But I bring in Hawlucha, and here's what's interesting. He forgets that Hawlucha is a slow set because Heatran outsped him, so of course it's slower. So he's going to switch out here, and I'm going to be able to defog and get these rocks out of here, which is super important. And yeah, just a not so great play on his part. He just wasn't aware. But yeah, this gives me a chance to later put up my rocks again. His Heatran's dead, so I can just get up rocks for free later on. But yeah, so here I bring in Aaron. I forgot to mention, although you probably saw in the team builder, that I do have rocks on Aaron as well. So I was thinking, whatever he's going to bring in, he's probably going to bring in as a sack. I did think about the play for some time, because it could have been a little bit risky, you know. If he just T-bolted me, and then I got up rocks, then it's like, you know, I get up rocks, and that's all Aaron does. However, by getting up rocks now, and knowing, or at least thinking he was going to switch out, I'm able to get up rocks, and because of Shell Bell, of course, this turn, I'm going to be able to go down to 1 HP, then I get to Endeavor, and he has plenty of HP for me to get back to full. So after this, there's going to be 2 sand turns, and yeah, Frogadier is dead though, so it's 4-4. So I've thought about this particular game for a long time, or this particular play. I don't know why. I was so worried about Kartana. I was like, oh, if I switch out to this, then, you know, do all these various switches, you know, maybe I'll be able to outspeed Kartana. But then I'm like, wait a second. If I just stay in Endeavor, he brings me down to 1, I get back to full, and so then my Sturdy's back, and I'm just going to be able to kill him with a Body Slam. It's that simple. And so I was really overthinking at the time. But nonetheless, I get down to 1 HP again, I get to Body Slam him, and he dies. So it is now 4-3. Granted, my Aaron is no longer useful. And in fact, he's going to take advantage of that by trapping me with Dougie, and I'm going to go down. So this gets real interesting here. Basically, it's looking like if he just earthquakes me, you know, I could die. Stoutland gets up a workup and then presses last resort and everything dies. I don't know if Zapdos is Scarf. That's what I was suspecting by the end of this game, but I'm not sure myself. However, anyway, the idea is to, you know, die as soon as possible with Gigalith so I can switch out into Stoutland and wreak havoc. However, turns out he has Substitute, and this is real interesting because I have Stone Edge and HP Fire as my moves. Again, I don't really know why I have HP Fire. Like, it kills Kartana, sure, but like, Gigalith doesn't have a good matchup against Kartana, so I don't really know why that mattered to me. So I get the first Stone Edge off, and it turns out he's actually going to try to bank on me missing Stone Edge by going for sub again, and indeed I miss the Stone Edge. So it really does suck because then he earthquakes, I die, and I have 5 turns of sand left and no way of getting sand up anymore. So I had to think about this. I was like, well, I could go to Stoutland. However, because of my set, I can't just bring it in right now. It's just not a good position for me to be able to do so. Because then I'd have to work up and then I'd take damage from Earthquake, and by then I'd probably die to 2 Earthquakes. I'm not 100% sure, but probably. And so yeah, with Tapu, the idea, although it gives him a little health because of grassy terrain, I just need something else to be able to more reliably take out his sub at the very least. And so what's going on here is he's going to sub again, and he's going to sub perhaps, I'm pretty sure, one more time after this because he will be able to because of grassy terrain. So in that sense, Tapu Bulu does, it's a little bit detrimental to my chances of winning, but nonetheless, you know, it could have been an alright set, and it does mitigate his Earthquake powers, so that's interesting in itself. So by the end of this, he's at 14%, so if he decides to stay in, you know, 14% is 14%, but if he switches out, he will go to 8% next time around, and depending on his moves, he could be a threat. So here, I am able to go for workup as he goes in Alomola, which is just perfect because that's exactly how I want this set to happen. However, grassy terrain is now gone, sandstorm is now gone, and we just have to kind of hope for the best that everything will be able to wrap up nicely. So here, with the toxic damage, I think it could have been a pretty significant factor, but yeah, that last resort is able to OHKO that Alomola from 71%, baby. Now here's the thing though, Dougie, I'm like, oh, gosh, if he has reversal, then it's over. Yeah, it's just gonna be pretty hard to go from there. But yeah, he does have reversal. I don't know if he has a Z move on it, like Z Tectonic Crusher, whatever the Earthquake move is. But yeah, because of the sub, Dougie was able to win this out. Definitely a good idea of Pirate Mark. Gosh, it's tired in here. But yeah, so it's a good battle for sure. It's just from here, it's going to be very scary for who ends up getting the last spot in the Premier Conference. So we have the top 3 are definitely in the conference no matter what. Now, Merc and I could switch spots still, and that's based on if I win and he loses this next game. So there's that. The only other one that's like legitimately very close in competition right now is the FC Poplio. Differential wise, I'm in the advantage, but yeah, FC Poplio has to win this next match for any chance of being able to go up. And yeah, if I just win, if I literally just win, then I will be set for the playoffs. But that's TBD, I suppose. But that's your update. So I hope y'all enjoyed. Thank you all for watching. Like, comment, and sub. Until later. Peace.